Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Three-time Grammy-winning blues artist Fantastic Negrito plays 930 Club in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday night. We spoke about how his ancestors' Virginia roots inspired his newest album, White Jesus, Black Problems, and how a near-fatal car accident and ensuing coma changed his entire perspective on life. Hey, Fantastic Negrito. Thanks so much for joining us on WTOP.
Thanks so much for having me. What a pleasure to be here and to be heard.
Awesome. Well, you're coming to 930 Club in DC on Wednesday, June 22nd. Have you ever played 930 Club before? I mean, it's a pretty legendary spot here in the nation's capital.
I haven't, but I have a lot of roots in DC from my family in Virginia, and of course Bob Boylan.
Wait, where in Virginia? What family?
Well, my entire new album, White Jesus, Black Problems, is based on a story I found 7 generations ago in my ancestry archives in Southern Virginia, a small town called Nathalie, but is where my people moved to. But the story happened in Amelia County, Virginia. And that's what the whole new album is based on, that story, White Jesus, Black Problems.
Yeah, tell me more about that, because I assume that's a lot what we're going to hear at 930 Club. Tell me more about it.
Yeah.
It's about your 7th generation grandmother, the whole, tell me about the whole indentured servant, married enslaved man. Tell me the whole thing.
Well, I don't think they were allowed to get married. I think they were
right.
sneaking around in the 1750s. A white Scottish grandmother, that's my grandmother, and a black enslaved man, my grandfather, they hooked it up, and 7 generations later, booyaka.
Booyaka. Here we have you coming to 930 Club.
I think that's why they did it.
They had the foresight. They said 7 generations from now, there's going to be an audience in DC that wants to come here. That's funny. Yeah. But no, in all seriousness though, talk about sort of those deep family ancestral themes and why, how it sparked the whole album for you.
Well, I was just super inspired. I was amazed that here were 2 people from 2 different sides of the spectrum, 2 different sides of the world. One is basically going to be free in 7 years, free, white and a woman, and one is a black enslaved man. But they seem like they got something done. And I kept saying that, man, like we live in this era where people can't get anything done because, this side believes this and this side believes that. And we're so entrenched and we, buckle down the hatch and we don't get anything done. So yeah. I really inspired that these 2 people got an illegal baby done.
Right. Openly defying what were, let's just call it what it is, racist laws of 1750s colonial Virginia. And it's so fascinating that, Virginia, after this would become, capital of the Confederacy, but also right. it would also become the home of the Loving versus Virginia ruling with interracial marriage. Like there's this push-pull going on in the state of Virginia the whole time. And here your album's telling a whole nother story sort of along the same lines. It's a fascinating time in history.
Yeah, it's a fascinating time. And I think maybe there's just something in the water in Virginia. I mean, people maybe overlook Virginia, but I think that it is extremely inspiring, but honest and truthful. And I felt like it really needed, just the title of my album, I'm catching some heat for it, which is okay. I like heat. And I think that it's good I need to represent that story in the most bombastic, gregarious, amazing and powerful and shocking way that I could. So that title just came to me. I was like, wow, this is so what it is. Here it is, a white woman challenging white supremacy. I'm like, yeah.
Right.
It's in the most sincerest way that you can, by connecting with a black enslaved man. It's just unbelievable courage and poise and all the good words, perseverance and defiance and everything that I stand for. So I felt like it made sense that I'm related to these people.
I love it. It's a fascinating story. And I don't know if you did that on purpose by saying there's something in the water in Virginia, because that's the name of Pharrell, who's from Virginia. He started he's doing a festival this weekend on Capitol Hill in DC called the Something in the Water Festival. So
I didn't
even know that.
I think I met Pharrell once at a Temple of the Dog concert, because I opened for Temple of the Dog in I think LA, and he was there backstage. So I met him once.
Wow. That's cool. Well, cool. Well, we're talking a lot about, 7 generations ago of your family's history and ancestry, but remind our listeners a little bit more about your own life story. I know you're born in Massachusetts and moved out to Oakland. How'd you get into music? Did I read you taught yourself listening to Prince and then, slipping into a couple classrooms at UC Berkeley, even though you weren't enrolled? Or tell me about how you learned.
Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I just discovered Prince at a very young age in the 80s. And I thought, wow, this is a brother that's doing something different. And I thought I could do something different. He was very inspiring when it came to that. And I did sneak into the University of California, UC Berkeley, to learn how to play. I was in a pretty rough neighborhood and there weren't any pianos around. So I snuck in and just pretended to be a student. I had sideburns too when I was like 16, so 17. I looked the part. They should name those practice rooms after me.
They should. It was your unofficial. You were auditing the classrooms. You know what I mean? You were just checking it out. Well, it worked out. I know. You had a previous, moniker, a name. It used to be. It was Xavier for that first album, X Factor in '96 on Interscope. Tell us sort of that journey between the Xavier days, and then I know there was like a near fatal car crash and like 3 weeks in a coma or something, and you ultimately came out of it. You came out of it with a new name and label for Fantastic Negrito in 2014.
Well, I think the guy in his 20s, I wanted to be famous and wanted to live like a rock star and have all the finest things that I thought were fine. The best cars, the hottest women, the best drugs, the biggest houses, the best clothing, the best of the best living.
The best sideburns.
You think you want all that stuff in your 20s. And I think, after I lived life and failed a bunch of times and, lost my playing hand, as you can see.
Is that from the car accident, you mean?
Yeah, from a car accident, being in a coma.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I see the scar right there. Yeah.
Yeah, right here, you see that.
Man.
And it's crazy. It doesn't really move. I play the guitar with my fingers.
Whoa.
Their finger guitar player. So what happens, I think, is I became a middle-aged guy and I just didn't want anything anymore. And it was a lot of power in not wanting to be famous or write some kind of popular hit song. And I just started doing it because it helped relieve my stress level as I was a new parent. And I just got married on a fluke. I was like, all right, I'll try getting married. I didn't really mean to do it, but it happened and I'm still married. Thank God. I'm still married, but
congratulations.
Yeah, I got on a plane and got married in another country. So what happened is, it's amazing when you're not looking for that same stuff. So I became a middle-aged guy, just ranting and raving in the train stations of the Bay Area and playing in front of coffee shops and not caring. Man, there is a power for an artist when they stop caring.
Right.
And that's what happened. And then I was very surprised that people were interested in what I'm doing. I'm still surprised because it is somewhat off. I don't ever fit anywhere. They're like, it's contemporary blues, but I think the blues people hate me. And then it's like, oh, it's rock, it's fun. And I don't fit anywhere. And it's okay though. That's perfect. I came from Elizabeth Gallimore and Grandfather Courage, so I came from those people who didn't want to fit in.
Right.
They didn't fit into someone's repressed fantasy of the world, and I'm really pleased and happy and proud of that.
Yeah, they didn't care what people thought, and neither do you. And it's funny, like you're saying, a weight lifts off of you when you stop caring what people think and you start doing your best creative work. Well, real quick. I know we got to remind people you've won 3 Grammys so far. There's probably many more to come, but take me back to that very first one for Best Contemporary Blues Album. It was Last Days of Oakland in 2016. Any memories of either putting the album together or being there Grammy night?
Yeah, just the album. I just did the album that I wanted to do without boundaries, without worrying about genres or fitting. And I was just surprised. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. Then you want it. I try to practice gratitude about everything, no matter just sitting here with you. It's just gratitude is always my attitude. I'm grateful for everything that happens, even the bad things, because, you learn the most off of that. And I'm happy to accept the Grammy if someone wants to give it to me. And I celebrated for a day and I just put it in the box.
Yeah.
The way it's not something I want to look at. I just want to continue being an artist and expression, artistry, digging deep and trying to tell the stories of the world and of the neighborhoods.
Yeah. And you put it in a box, but then probably because you knew you were going to win again, because you won again. Please Don't Be Dead in 2018. How do you think you had evolved from Last Days of Oakland to Please Don't Be Dead? Like, are you still maturing, still growing, getting better?
I just try to be nothing. Just try to be nothing. I try to just nothing when I go into the studio. Get inspired. Try to be nothing. Just connect with that energy that made you an artist. That when you were 17, it's like, to me, it's like when I get in the studio, I feel like a 17-year-old and a grandfather all in one. Wisdom of grandpa, but freedom of the 17-year-old. And that's what I try to do on every album, and tell a story that may be important to people and that's important to me. Try to contribute something, and that's what matters to me more than anything, is body of work and what I've done. I think it's the freedom of being a middle-aged artist.
Yeah.
And living on a farm. It's just you want to just do something great, and the chips will fall where they fall.
Wisdom of a grandfather and freedom of a 17-year-old. I love that. That's your autobiography title right there.
Powerful combination.
Yeah, absolutely. And wait, real quick, you mentioned you're living on a farm. Where's that at?
Oh, in Oakland, I live on a farm. Got grow a lot of veggies and got about 15 chickens. And
I love it.
Oh, me too. It's better than prescription pills. I mean, it's just feel at peace and at one with the soil, the trees, and you know that you're just a guest on this earth. Take care of the best that you can.
Yeah, exactly. Mother Nature's drugs right from the soil, baby. Well, very cool. Well, and just to round it out, just so I have it here, you win the third one, Grammy, for Have You Lost Your Mind Yet? You say it's all about each one. You're trying to tell a story. What story are you trying to tell and Have You Lost Your Mind Yet? Well, that comes out in 2020, which was the year of George Floyd. It was the year of the pandemic. I mean, we were all losing our minds.
I think that's the story. I think it had to do a lot with mental health, that album.
Mm-hmm.
It just so happened that we were all going through something. I'm like, oh, there I go.
Yeah.
And I like to keep my finger on the pulse of things. And then I feel like an elder in society, kind of, I try to impart something or contribute something that maybe, I like when it's useful. I don't know if I make music for people to like, but I make music for people to think.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that I'm into. So if it gets something going, even if people don't like it, I'm reading posts about people not liking the title of White Jesus, Black Problems, but I think it's okay. They can yell at me and then I could be nice, and then maybe they learn something like, hey, it's okay if you disagree with me. We don't have to hurl insults or hate each other.
Yeah.
Or go to war against each other just because we disagree about a few.
Yeah. Well, what do they say that they don't like about the title? I mean, because hate to break it to them, Jesus, the historical Jesus, his skin color was darker than mine. You know what I mean?
I think the argument that I get is that they think I'm trying to put down white people to bring up Black people. I don't get that argument, because story has nothing to do with that. The story is about interracial couple. Maybe the title is doing exactly what I needed to, is, hey, get your attention. Maybe you'll watch the film about how beautiful and harmonious two people can be from two different sides of the globe. So it's okay. I don't mind it. I think, it means you're saying something. I really am a huge fan of that.
Awesome. I love that concept too, man. I keep doing what you're doing. The haters are going to hate, but just don't pay attention to them.
Some people actually answer just to be like, hey, do we have some dialogue? And sometimes it's turned out pretty good, actually.
That's good. Yeah, it sparked the conversation.
But some people are just, that's what they're out there for, to be, an asshole. Sorry if I can't say that on the air, but some people are out there to just project their negativity on the world, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Right. Exactly. Just take the high road, stay positive, and keep cranking out your creativity.
Stay on the high road, stay positive.
I love it. Well, people can come see the story you're trying to tell there and start that conversation of white Jesus black problems and all of your other stuff. When you're playing at the 9:30 Club, it'll be Wednesday, June 22nd at 7 p.m. So get your tickets now, 930club.com. You've been very generous. Thanks for joining us on. It looks like you're still, you got the mask dangling here. Looks like you're on a tour bus. You're probably so busy. We got to let you get back on the road.
I'm doing about a couple hours away I'm in Toronto and I'm getting ready to play a festival.
All right. Well, good luck with the festival and then all the way to Toronto. Then you're going to come all the way down to DC. Man, the life of the road, right?
Yeah, Brooklyn, New York, Philadelphia, DC, it's on.
All right. Well, we can't wait to see you down here on Wednesday. So, hey, Fantastic Negrito, thanks so much for joining us. This is awesome.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for joining us on Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Remember to hit the subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time. I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.